problem that Nigeria is facing. Please don't touch religion. You are going to make a lot of people hate you. Do you understand that? Like, that sentiment. Because some people have psycho-bullied them that if you go and say, you can say anything you like. Oh. If you should go and say something about Imam, or you go and say something about Chief Imam, or Sheikh somewhere, or you say something about Muhammad, some people will come, they will kill you, so you better watch your mouth. Oh. Even though they know that is wrong, yeah, but they have to psycho-bully you into realizing that that's the extreme they can go. My friend, you better watch your mouth. I mean, I like everything you are saying. All these pastors are not, men of God are not like politicians. So men of God can curse you. Men of God can do anything. They can kill you. Don't think you can just, all of these are religious psycho-conditioning, psycho-bullying. When they start working, you'll be hearing from an already psycho-programmed, psycho-bullied individual standing on his 2 feet of ignorance and stupidity and begin to threaten you with what he's been threatened with through his religion. Do you understand how that works? Okay. So when they now come up, when you say, look at all these pastorpreneurs and the way they are involved in psychologically preparing many of you to start building this kind of hope in the reality of Nigeria of today. Person where they no get job, they have told them religiously that if you have strong faith in that Nigeria, 2023 is year. And he's holding on to that with faith, strong faith, which is good, not bad. But all of this, for those of us who have actually we are so used to their games, they are also something that psychologically, what's it called that thing? Dopamine or something like that. This thing that they say we have these neurons that just run through our brain when we think, or like when we think about good things, like good memories. Then when we begin to envision things like 2023. Man, 2023, I have to. 2023, I want to. 2023, I'm going to get married. You know what I mean? Like the moment you begin to think of those good things, and your mind, everything is into it, you begin to build and start seeing them happen or start working. So at that point, this is just you now. Nobody is saying something to you religiously. No babalawo, no mamalawo, no nothing. No pastorpreneur, no afakeu. Just you. Where this your brain, what have you, dopamine rush. God bless you. Say most of these things I see them, but I just like, what does that mean? I don't, you know what I mean? So thank you very much, Jared. Dopamine. I've got doctors here. Rush, the neurons in your brain, everything will just be like, oh my God, I'm going to marry Lekon next year. I just pray that Lekon's promotion work. Once Lekon gets promotion and he start earning 850,000, and I'm also doing my own business on the side, which is also fetching me some money. We are in love. We're gonna get, you start. If anybody say, Sharon, Soli, say waiting, Soli waiting. They hear people they agree again. No, we are fighting for this country. We are fighting for our life, and they say, no, may I go there now, may them go kill me. What if I go there now and they shoot me? What if I go there now and I become this or that? Because you are already building something so nice. And your mind and everything is already you know what I mean? So that is the work of all these seers. Babalawo, Mamalawo, Pastor Lawo, Alpha Lawo, what is it they call them? Brother Lawos, Sister Lawos, and all the Lawos that are also telling you, they used to tell you, close your eyes. 2023 is your year. 2022 is your year. 2022. That, you know what I mean? Those who told you 2022 now your year, you are about to go for another crossover with the same prayer points. Do you know why you keep going? Because at some point, your prayer points are the good things that you are wishing upon. You know, some of you are going there for, like, oh, safety, insecurity. God protect me and my family. I thank you from January to December. I'm going to another year, protect, that stuff, eh? These are what dopamine in you actually builds the neurons in your brain. And they are those things you call hope. If I ask you, what is your hope? Can you describe your hope? You say, Baba, I never marry. I never build house. My mama, my papa, they never start shopping from the what do they call it? From the fruit of their labor. So which means you haven't done some certain things that you have imagined happen to you. And that's what you call hope. That's what we call hope. Hope. You build it yourself. But how does the politicians, the pastors, politics, and the people then connect to steal that from you, to use that to keep you perpetually in the bondage of ego better Nigeria? The reason why you continue to make yourselves available to be lied to, seriously, is because of what you have built inside that somebody else has now weaponized using religion. I'm not questioning your faith, too. I am now trying to tell you how they are connected. When people are now certifying what you are wishing. It says, somebody here in 2023, I am seeing marriages. I am seeing weddings. And you are there praying that, you are now 31. Sharon, beautiful, hardworking, successful. But somehow, the society wants you to bring a man. So because of that, you are not alone. No? There are many Sharons, Karen, everywhere. Whose prayer point is not because they are looking for a man to give them money. Somehow, they can keep their own space very tight. But they are not. Sharon, you are not seeing the economic downturn. Sharon, you are not paying attention that young men of your age, younger than you, older than you, are running away from responsibility. They call it responsibilities because the economy that the system foisted on them is not favorable for them to settle down. You are not seeing that. Now, did I just say something to you that you don't know? Of course you do know. But somebody else is now weaponizing it, saying, Sharon, there are many fishes in the river. There are catfish. There are tilapia fish. There are tanwiji fish. Before I choose you, one person will choose you in that river because he's now weaponizing what you are building your hope on. A lot of people have been scammed for this. But guess what? It is not because God knows the answer prayer for those of you who have faith. But you are not paying attention to the real devil, the prayer preventer. Nigeria that we said should not happen to you. We say Nigeria should not happen to you. We're talking about the system that doesn't have to touch you. You don't even have to say anything bad. Have you not noticed? You don't even have to say anything bad about them. And it will still touch you. Somehow. So the work of these guys is to melembe you. You know what I mean? So that you can manage your anger. Your anger, frustration, disappointment, your discovery, understanding of what is going on. How can they now mold all of that into a new hope? Based on all of this, is by using the same thing you love most, your faith, your religion. Are you with me? Your religion. How are they manipulating you through your religion? Whereby, wherever you are supposed to have logical thinking, I'm talking about clear thinking where we say na normal. No need of spiritual, no need of there's something bigger, there's some spiritual. Forget this thing. They are not, when they are connecting them with the economic and then system reality, you should not be lying to yourself. That's what I'm saying. If I don't get work now, they tell me, say, you get belle. Which belle? I will be scared. A lot of young people, I've been there. And when I say I've been there, I'm going to be speaking from experience. Eh? Young people, or let me say young men, who are the number one victims of Nigerian poverty. A lot of you don't even understand what this means. When they give you this statistic, the number of people who are falling into poverty every day, that number, that bracket, more than 70% of the people who make up the 130 million poor people in Nigeria, more than 70% of that are young people. Young people between the ages of 0 months, to 35 years. Pick your age and tell me how you are struggling, how you are surviving. They say, how far? You say you are surviving. Papa, we are surviving now. You know it's not easy. When they say it's not easy, you know it's not easy. But do you actually understand why that is? It's because you are the most affected demography in Nigeria who are living in that abject poverty. You know what I mean? You are doing a hell of a job just to live. And that's why many of you are being pushed into different kind of crimes. You call them survivor. They are not right, but you have normalized them. They are the example of what you should know as the poverty index and those who make up the number. Young people. And I bet some of you are actually in that bracket too. Imagine working and you are still living poor. Just imagine that. And a lot of you have normalized that because it is the best you've got. You've not got any other place. You've not got any other way, any other place to go to. Poor young people that are not getting proper education. Just now, right now, Nigeria has the population of 21 million out of school children. The children that are supposed to be in school, being nurtured, trained, guided, and protected, are currently loitering about, some of them begging, some of them serving as slaves in different people's homes in Nigeria today. They call them house helps. Now, that's Nigeria. So, in 10, 15 years, these are also going to join the bracket of generationally poor people. But they can always use one or two of them and say, hey, but we have 3 people who are very, very poor. But look at them now, they are successful. What happened to the 21 million? When you can give me names, you can give me 100 names. You know, you can conveniently say, there are young people, 100 of them who have succeeded. We see them, we see that. Then what happened to the remaining 80 million? That some of you actually, you belong to them. Even though you have been what do you call it? You have been psycho conditioned to put up defense against people who did this to you. Young people, poor, living poor, being led into more crime. Terrible things that young people are being so depressed, committing suicide. I'm talking about a lot of them also suffering from mental health problems, not getting adequate help, adequate medical support, not getting adequate psychological support. They are just flung out there to go and become the beast that you see every day in Nigeria today. Now, that is dangerous for that future if you understand it very well. So the old order did all of that. The old order pushed us to want to do something different. And one of them is that if we do it differently, we believe there will be different results where young people should be able to say, no, we want to go this way. And when you say you want to go this path, it should be a path, uncharted path. You know what uncharted path means? That a place where it has no footpath or footprint of the demagogue who did this to us. And that's why I said that if you have been a victim unable to pay medical bills, falling into poverty because of health care, losing your loved ones that should probably still be here with us. You know, I didn't know something until now. And that was when they said that in life, if you take out all of these vices, economic jihad, physical jihad, and the rest, they say naturally, every 10 years. I don't know if you know this, but you can please correct me if I am actually like overstretching it, okay? They say that in life, every 10 years, every decade, we are bound to lose the people that we truly love. You know what I mean? People that are closer to us, that we love every 10 years. It could be family members, it could be colleague, it could be anyone, it could be you, it could be me. So I sat back, I was like, the lifespan in Nigeria continued to to reduce and reduce as life become almost nothing. But that's physical one. What about other silent killers? Different health issues that are taking people away, killing them because they couldn't pay for what the system asked them to pay to stay alive. And it's normal. But hang on, if all of that are not there, you have working healthcare system and the rest, and they still said that we are bound to lose at least 3 of our own loved ones in a decade. So I sat back, I realized that in the last 10 years, a lot of things happened to me. And they happened to me when I am no longer in Nigeria. Good, bad. I lost my dad, lost my mom, who were both in Nigeria, right? I lost a few other people that are not so close, but they are like also people I really know or knew or loved. But there are other gains too. But you see, when you look at that of Nigeria, some people are listening to me right now and they'll be like, well, mine is kind of similar, but it's even worse. Yeah? Well, I lost my dad and my mom because there is no real health care in Nigeria. That probably we didn't have enough money, or I didn't have enough money to do what the rich, greedy, selfish, criminal politicians are doing in Nigeria, the looting politicians. So my money couldn't buy them anything that could save them, especially my mom. Right? If she was here, maybe she would still be alive. Or if there was a working system, maybe she would still be alive. But that is just in the last 10 years. Okay. Then somebody said, Mayegun, there are families, there are people who have lost more than 20 members of their family, not because they fell sick, not because they got involved in an accident, not because they died naturally, but because they were killed by this system. Tell me about it. Yesterday we were sharing, I'll give you an example. Yesterday we were sharing the story of the people killed in Malago and Sakogi in Southern Kaduna. Now, if you take a look at some of these, right, this is not like natural disaster or anything, right? This is just like the act of terrorism. And if you begin to see something, you realize that in a single day, just in a single route, some families lost more than 1 or 2 of their loved ones. Some family actually lost the whole family during the onslaught. And that's exactly what I believe the Nigeria that the APC, Egbekegbe, have actually brought upon us. This is what they represent. I'll be back. of this could be personal in a way, but it depends on how you see it. So today, all of this turmoil, all of this have also created even more complicated and some straightforward, sort of direct problems now. Or should I say direct and indirect problems? For those who have seen through what Nigeria truly represents, when I say Nigeria, I mean Nigeria establishment represents, it doesn't matter who is there. I keep saying that too. It doesn't matter who is there. It is the same treatment you're going to get because it's the same system. So for those who have discovered that, this is pure waste of time, they've channeled their energy into something more, it's time consuming, but it's more rewarding. It's worthy. Self-determination. There's something I want to share with you on this process of self-determination that you should know. Nigeria represents chaos, violence, and all of these are not creation of the people themselves directly, right? But they are the creation of these rogues, which people are reacting to. But in all these reactions, there are some certain information that we should please never miss. You know that in most cases, people will tell you to have your independence. It's not going to be a tea party. They are right. It's not cheap. It's not by pushing. No, it's not. They are right. It takes more. Now, when people say to gain your own freedom or independence or any other description they give to it, people will die. They are also right too. Because even those who are going to die, if they are not, because ordinarily they will not be you having to kill yourselves. It will be the reaction of those who don't want you to be on your own. That is why this short stretch of explanation I'm going to give to you is crucial, is important, and they are always open for debate. I think that's the right word, debate. To gain freedom from something is not free. There are prices to pay. Absolutely. But there is something called, in my own research, if I have to put it this way, there's something called preparation. And there's also something called aggression. Now, aggression, in my own study, is what comes last. Preparation comes first. And do not let anybody tell you otherwise. If you believe in referendum, and what is referendum? Referendum is when people have to choose and vote on a particular subject or proposal of national importance for the people of a particular area. It is politics, democratic, and it involves meeting with the people, selling this to them, bringing them on board, and then making it a big show. Now, preparation. If you take aggression without being prepared, what you are doing is called suicide. And I'll break it down. To have a team of dedicated people who have a clear explanation, steps, and what have you on what they want and how to achieve them, it all starts from this set of people identifying themselves and identifying their roles. I'll give you a few instances of areas that attempts of a people so concerned and determined to break themselves away from whatever current union they are part of today. There are many countries. In fact, there are over 40 countries that want to break up from their current union for whatever historical this or that that brought them together. A lot, over 40 countries all over the world, which Yoruba nation, the Yorubas, are part of them. Now, let me tell you what process is actually involved in determining if you have what it takes to break ourselves away from a contraption like Nigeria. Now, it all starts from the idea. Now, the idea of self-determination, right, also comes with a preparation called self-autonomy or political autonomy, economic autonomy, and other autonomies that comes with the people who have decided to take their own destiny into their hands. So let's take Nigeria, where the battleground is first. We have spoken about the generational cycle conditioning, the fear mongering, and every other thing that they have used to keep people to keep believing in the old order. We've spoken about that, and we've spoken about the victims, which are in their millions. Ignorance of what it actually takes to be free in that context, yeah? So if somebody tells you that you could be one of the greatest, luckiest people on earth, determined by where you come from, and every other thing that comes with being a citizen of a country that actually acknowledges you as a citizen. Now, it all starts from a group of people when we go back to when the likes of a Chief Obafemi Awolowo and others who actually muted the idea of independence. First time that independence struggle actually took a proper, or should I say a different direction, which was then called the New Order from the old way of doing things. So people felt like they could do better and deserved better than what the colonial Nigeria had to offer. So what did they do? They found the people of like minds, no internet. They shared the idea of what a prosperous Western Nigeria or Western region of Nigeria will look like or should look like. And what actually it should be so important to these nationalists who are now determined to take a part of a colonized Nigeria out of that colonized Nigeria, even if others are not ready. It didn't take long before they found people of like minds. And it wasn't long as well before they were able to develop the ideas that is relatable to the people of the place they want to free at the time. So what does this mean with you? It simply means that you need to take control of what is actually happened in that particular region. You need to have the real reliable data that tells you things that, somehow, you will share with the people that shows to them that if they are well managed, if the people are well behaved, right, they can have something better. In fact, they will deserve something better than what Nigeria has to offer. Now, as a group, it simply means you are going to go into the inner grassroots land of Yoruba land with one single message, the message of we need to live. And these are the process of living. Now, the process of staging a walkout from a union, from what I know of, it could take generations to achieve, especially if the coordination is not indeed grounded. When I say grounded, it has to be what you want. It has to be what you have to want. So how do you make that happen? First, you have to get involved in the day-to-day lives of our people. And at the same time, when you get involved in their day-to-day, right? Which means you are present. As a group of advocating for the independence of Yoruba nation. Let's use that now. So you would have to first tell ourselves the honest truth, which I have said repeatedly on this platform, and I'm going to repeat again. Until we take control, until the people who actually care for Yoruba land, until they take control, the following controls: the economic control, the political control, the governance control, and everything that has to do with Yoruba land right now, until you take control of these things, it will remain a tough call to turn the wheel right now. I'll tell you more. I was reading this Punch newspaper interview with Akere Dolu, the Ondo State governor, that was bragging himself to be pro-Yoruba this, pro-Yoruba that. But all of these have been used in the past. So when I said control, let's start with the governance. The people that have kept our people down for whatever we are experiencing in Nigeria today, they've always been Yorubas. Akere Dolu, in his Punch newspaper release, said, Yoruba nation is a mirage and it will never happen, ever. He said, rather, Yorubas will build and do everything that they can to make Nigeria work. And that is somebody who cannot keep the Ondo people safe the way he would want to, the way he promised them, the way that it should have been if they actually really care for you and not for what they get from Nigeria. So he said it boldly. He said, it will never happen. And do you know something? That is exactly how those who are currently ruling Yoruba land, that is exactly how they feel towards Yoruba nation. They are seeing you. Do you think they are not seeing you? They are seeing everything going on. They are seeing all the rallies. They are seeing all of these, publications and all of that. They are seeing them. And in their mind, the best way they can do, or what the best they can do to assure Nigeria that Yoruba nation will never happen, is to begin to clamp down on you. So when you see them start clamping down on you because you are supporting Yoruba nation, it is, don't join people saying DSS, Buhari, or whatever have you. Just know that your fellow Yoruba men and women who are comfortable with what they are getting from Nigeria right now, they are those behind it. And why? Because they have the leverage. And that is why an organization or the people who want to take control and take back what rightfully belongs to them, they must put the Yoruba political criminals who have publicly shown that they will use everything, they will do everything to crush many of you who are like aspiring for that. Because it is political. Self-determination is political. Getting your independence is political. Defending yourself is political. Everything that, and you cannot in any way make any sort of changes if you are not in any of this, in control of any of this. And this is where making the people understand why it is better to live in a country that actually treats you as a citizen. Nigeria, there's no Nigerian. Let's be honest though. Many of us are answering Nigerian today because they gave us the name as Nigerians. 250 ethnic nationalities forced and forged together with over 500 languages, different languages, fused together to pretend to be a country, and it's not been working. There's no Nigerian. But if you are able to make an average Yoruba man and woman your ally, and you make them understand why this has to be done, and how then do you take control when you have the people? So people like Akere Dolu Akeredolu, people like all other Yoruba pretenders who are claiming to be representing Yoruba in Project Nigeria today, you can easily put them in their place. When I say put them in their place, when you make the people your ally, when they get to know what, and then they get to know that if you are putting those who are like, who have kept Yoruba people down for decades, when you are putting all of these people who are not Yoruba, so when you are putting them in a basket, you have to put all this type of Yoruba criminal leaders in the same baskets and treat them just same way you have been treating or feeling towards those you believe have contributed to where we are right now as a people. And if you can do that, then you talk about influence. Influence also involves, from what I have seen so far, in the UK and in this UK, an average Scottish person who is in the British Army, right, has his loyalty to the crown as a soldier. But as a Scottish person, his inner heart is towards towards Scotland. Which means if they have to call, let's say, 100% of Scottish soldiers, intelligence officers, MI6 officers, and so many other who are working for this British, what have you, if they bring 100% of them who are Scottish together, don't quote me, okay? But because I live here and I know them, you can go to bed and say 50% of them, they will pledge their loyalties to Scotland. The remaining 50, who are not going to pledge their loyalty to Scotland, right? They are not going to pledge full loyalty to Britain as well, because they will not be where Scotland is going to be betrayed and then contribute to it. They won't, because I know them. A lot of them who are working for this security stuff in this country, who are Scottish, loyal to their job and so committed to the crown, is because there is still United Kingdom, which Scotland is part of. And the people who are ruling and controlling Scotland, they are nationalists, Scottish nationalists, who want to leave the UK. So what does that tell you? It simply tells you that in a space of 20 years, those in charge of Scotland have been able to breed generation of loyal Scottish sons and daughters. Wherever they found themselves, their loyalty at the back of their mind is to Scotland and their family and everything they hold dear in this place. We can't say the same thing about the Yorubas in Nigerian army, Nigeria police, Nigeria. No, I'm just being so, I'm trying to be generous. I don't want to make so much. I don't want to make it sound ridiculous. Okay? But if you are living in Scotland and you have been with Scottish people, you will realize that, oh dear, of course, somebody will tell you here that more than 80% of them, they will pledge their loyalty to Scotland and defend Scotland if they have to against Britain. Do you understand? They will drop off and they will join Scotland to defend Scotland. That will be true. But let's put it at 50-50. And that's why I'm not giving Scotland, I'm not giving the Great Britain, I'm not giving them the remaining 50% because they don't own the 50% too. But we can't say the same thing about our own Yoruba brothers and sisters. In Nigerian police, in Nigerian army, majority of them who manage to earn 1 or 2 positions, they are just 2Gs in all of these places. You know it. A Yoruba man became second in command, almost to a Sokoto, to a Kano dictator, Abacha. You remember Dia, General Dia? He became the vice to him. Obasanjo became president. Excuse me. A Yoruba man, but his loyalty is to who? According to him, is to Nigeria, but it's a lie. It's to the owners of Nigeria. So not to Yoruba, not to anything. In everything he did, you can tell that, Abi, because all the police positions they all held, as much as they are as qualified as anyone, they knew that they couldn't have attained those positions without the blessing of the owners of Nigeria. And for whatever record or whatever thing they succeeded in doing or not doing, they will have to do them according to the dictate of the owners of Nigeria, not for Yoruba people. So you need an organization that wants to take Yoruba out of Nigeria to begin to influence things like that. You influence the type of people that go into their military. You influence the people that they are Yoruba nationalists. Their loyalty is to Yoruba land through you. Do you understand that? And all of these are things that could be done within a space of 10 years. These are called preparation before aggression. Preparation means you need nationalists, you need people who care about Yoruba land. You need to send them into that system in Nigeria. You need to sponsor them. You need to back them. You need to protect, you need to influence them. So as they grow in that places, one day they will serve that purpose. So the likes of Akere Dolu, the likes of Tifnubu and gang, the likes of Oban Paro, and the rest of those who have been using Yoruba this, Yoruba that, to keep you as Yorubas, to keep believing that something great is going to happen, has been part of Nigeria, which they know is never going to happen. But you need the real people to influence that. An established organization, grounded organization. I'm not asking you to become a political party, but you need to influence those who are actually making it so difficult for Yorubas to feel comfortable about talking Yoruba nation, recruiting and mobilizing for it, organizing seminars. You know, you need organizations that organizes symposiums, seminars, workshops on the reason why we need Yoruba nation. And they need to be free. They need to be safe in every part of Yoruba land. You need that. They are called preparation. You need the people that could make the likes of Akere Dolu and the rest of them never in their life to open their mouth and say Yoruba nation is impossible, because they will know that is their own political career completely dead. You need you need an organization that could attract the people, and you need to do that. Aggression comes last, like I said. You can then use your acquired influence to force the hand of the system to give you what is called, somebody said, no, they are not going to. No, you don't understand. You know, when you don't give people choices, you need to acquire influence that will make those owners of Nigeria that are doing like this to see what they are about to inflict on themselves if you should use the advantage of your influence. I don't know if you understand this better, but I'll still leave it at that for those who actually grab it. You cannot shave a man's head behind his back. If you want to shave somebody's head, they must be present. And that applies to every one of us. Safety, coordination, something that is impenetrable, something that is physical and real, something that is relatable, connectable, something that you can easily probable. It takes a lot of work. And nobody can promise you freedom if you don't know how to fight. And fighting is not always physical. I like it when people say, Amaegun, we have passed this stage. I know, because many of you have put that aggression in front, and you will soon realize, or if you are not realizing it yet, you will realize that, no, you are not prepared. Because there are so many ways you fight. You force the hand of the people that feels like there's nowhere you are going. You're not going anywhere. Once they lost their allies in Yoruba land, once the likes of Akeredolu and Co, once the likes of Akeredolu and Co are no longer confident to speak what he's just said, they will fear your aggression more than it even happening. Yeah, somebody said, I know. I'm not disputing that a lot of people have already picked up that about where they now we're next now. We know they do all this thing again. But you will be deceiving yourselves. I mean, I understand the rage. I understand the anger. I understand the, you know what I mean, the frustration and every other thing that make up all of that. But you are going to come back to agree that you are not prepared. Rather, what many are actually going to get engaged in is going to be a suicide wish. Not because I actually want you to feel like dying for what you love, dying for Yoruba land and all of that is worth it. Now, that's what you are telling yourself. But if you take a proper look around you, let me give you an instance. In a space where the real people, the real people that are the, what do you call it? That are the campaigners and then the advocates and the rest of them who are like asking that we need to be free and all of that. If you flash and play back a bit, you see, when you have control, right? When you have control, when I say control, I'm talking about a situation whereby majority of those who actually controls the, in fact, let me start with this. Where you have real control and influence, the policies around, the governmental policies around Yoruba land right now, we would have forced their hands to have created a united sort of a front as a region, practicalizing the, what do you call it? The integration of these regions developmentally, policy-wise, and the rest of those. So we would have influenced that. By influencing that, policy-wise, we would have, in a way, influenced the emergence of Yoruba real, wealthy people. I'm talking about Yorubas who have access to the Yoruba resources, developing them, creating jobs, creating viable economies, new cities, and the rest of that across Yoruba land, and making them realize all these opportunities that they are getting are the opportunities provided for them because they are Yorubas. You know that? Which means everything they own, everything they have, whoever they are, they have to hold it to the Yoruba land. Now, when you make that happen, that means you are controlling, you have the potential economic power to sustain you as a country. Then you also have the political power, influence that could make policies that will touch lives of the people, things that you can influence. These are called preparation. You know why they are going to be useful? I'll tell you. Where you have such reality in Yoruba land, where you have such reality, number one, it won't be a taboo to discuss the independence Yoruba nation out of Nigeria. In fact, it will be like Scotland, where number one, you are already seeing things that make you feel different from the rest of Nigeria. Good governance, coordinated leadership, safe environment, developed, environment, and all things that you can easily say, wow, what you find in Lagos is what you're going to see in Ogun. What you see in Ogun is what you're going to see in Osun. Is what you're going to see everywhere. And they are so coordinated that you can tell this is a region that is acting like a country. Now, there is nothing like that right now, other than for the selfish rogues who are opportune to be there in the last 23 years, sort of feathering their own nest. So if you are able to create something like that, there will be no reason for, there will never be any reason for the Nigerian security, Nigerian soldiers, or anybody, Nigeria or Nigeria, to intimidate you, threaten you, arrest you, or even kill you, or send you to exile because you are standing up for what is Yoruba. Because you know why? The system that is going to keep you safe might be in Nigeria, but it's not operating like Nigeria. You are in Yoruba land. You are supposed to feel like you are in Yoruba land. Right now, as Yorubas that want an independent Yoruba nation, you know you are not safe right now. You know it. When you say it out there and say they are scared, they are worried, yeah, because of your action, because of your advocacy, because of your, you know what I mean? What you are referring to is that you know those who are worried. And you know they are worried enough that they could do anything. You know that. And it shouldn't have been like that. Where we have grounded, grassroots, Yoruba nationalists who are spreading the message, educating the people, telling them that a day is coming. A day is coming that you are going to stand out there in front of your different homes and meeting points, and you will be deciding if you want to be part of Nigeria or you don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore, non-violently. Now, when you gain such prominence, let me give you one example. It's not a good one, but it is a viable one for this conversation. Northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria, where the Boko Haram terrorists started this madness that's now triggered the rest of indigenous people all over Nigeria to be so woke and so ready, and many demanding that this union must be renegotiated. Yeah, that's another thing. This Nigeria that the old order want to keep, and the one that you, the new order, trying to force on, right? If the old order survive, right, then this Nigeria will survive, because the consequences of what they have done over the years is catching up already. Sure, you know. But now, in reality, here now in northern Nigeria, as terrible as we have heard, and you'll be wondering, how come Nigerian system is unable to prosecute the recorded and known terrorists who claimed on many occasions that the reasons why they are killing people is either because of Allah to Islamize Nigeria, or because they want land for their cows and their cattle. And they have killed and killed and killed and killed thousands of Nigerians for this. But there's no single person on trial right now for any of these crimes, because majority of them are what? Muslims from northern Nigeria. And the people who are supposed to use the instrumentality of Nigeria security system to put those people on trial and keep you safe, do you know what they are doing? Rather than put them on trial for their crimes, they opened up rehabilitation camps for any of them that repent. So they protect them. Terrorists that have put Nigeria name on the map of the terrorist nations. When you go to the map and say you are looking for terrorized nations, Nigeria is there. The terrorists that put Nigeria on that map, they are being pampered in Nigeria because they are from a section of the country that believes that they own Nigeria. If you dare go after them, you are going to create more problems for Nigeria. So to manage the problem, let us pamper the terrorists. Terrorists that are kidnapping people, children, women, raping them, killing them. They are being rehabilitated because that's the law. That is the policy of theirs. You carrying flag, demanding for referendum, demanding that justice must be done. Nnamdi Kanu must be released because your court released him. All of you doing things peacefully, legit, and the rest of that, you are being haunted. Not directly by the system in the federal, but a sub-branch in the state where those behind Igbos and Biafra will never come. They are not people from outside Biafra. They are Biafrans themselves. They are the political and those who are their other supporters are there. In Biafra land, they will do everything to make sure that it never happens. Same thing with us in Yoruba land. So the system, the establishment, and its sub-branch in Yoruba land will do everything. I mean, everything to make sure that you are hunted down, you are blacklisted, you are called terrorist, you are called this or that, you are jailed, and you are even killed. So if you want to die for Yoruba land to be free, let's build quality around that death. Don't make it a suicide. Don't do it without preparation. If you want to fight people who have entrenched fear, manipulation, and the rest in the system, you cannot take aggression first and ignore preparation and say, everything to turn to this or that. They will either kill you or send you to exile. And then the chaos will expand. Now, when the finally goes to, in fact, you see, when he now goes to everybody, yeah, everything is proper, we'll fight and fight. Okay, fine. At a point, you would have to put down the guns. Do you know there's something called ceasefire? Sometimes they call it temporary. So you have to put down the guns, and then you have to what? Put on your dress and go and sit down at that table where they want to discuss what should we do as for peace. So it simply means that if you are already prepared, you can disarm those who have enough money to acquire enough weapons just to exterminate you for demanding for a better life and country. So being strategic is the reason why I said, if anybody tells you that to get a country, you will need more guns, even that itself requires preparation too. Yeah, it does. Except for those who have become, who want to, sort of be rebels. And rebels don't get countries. I have never seen any country where you see, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, there is cost, and I agree. But when you want to really do the right thing, it all starts from letting people know why they want this and how would they fight to get this. It starts from taking control. The people that will order your shooting or your arrest or send you to exile, they are mostly the same people that you call brothers or sisters. So, if you have that control, doesn't mean you have to go into politics directly, but you need to have the people in the place of decision making. The decision makers must be the people that somehow, you have their tongues. That's where I'm going. Somebody said Cuba. I'll tell you what happened in Cuba. What happened in Cuba, you could term that as something you come to know later as a coup in other places. Let me describe it. There's a place called Bay of Pigs. These were those who were the communists. Give me one sec. You know Fidel Castro, popular Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro happened to be a communist from a group of communist party. You know, the communists are those who don't believe in the regular order. Okay? So the government of Cuba at the time was a government, they call the puppet government, put in place by America, backed by America and the rest of that, right? So the communists are unable to, they are unable to win elections, which means the system continued to rig them out through elections. So their leaders were declared wanted. I mean, wanted, dead or alive. So which means a lot of them have to leave Cuba to somewhere outside Cuba to group. But remember, they were a party. They have members. They have, they have been participating in the politics of Cuba too. But it's just that the power that be continue to muzzle out the majority. But they were not lucky too. They were not doing well in the country. Country was dwindling. The economy was, So which means a lot of people started sympathizing with this Castro and his people. So they realized that, no be election only we go use this time around though. Yeah? We have to overthrow that government. No, we have to fight. So it's not different from the same military coup you witness in Nigeria. Because Cuba was a country, still a country. It is the control of the country that Fidel Castro and everyone finally fought. And they finally forced the government of Cuba, the president then, to run away. And their own idea of fascism or communism, well, their own idea of what country should be like was then forced as an implemented after gaining power. So you should not mix up the story, okay? Fidel Castro didn't come and gain independence for Cuba. Do you understand that now? Cuba was a country. In fact, it didn't take long for Fidel Castro to make a deal with USSR then, because they needed something to protect them from America's invasion, something to scare America away. So that's exactly what the retaliatory coup of 1966 did to Nigeria. So if we have to use history, and using the history of using force and gun, okay, there is nowhere they have used gun to break any country, anywhere. Nowhere. You would have to see, I'm not saying people didn't fight too. You still have to come back to the same negotiation table. So that means some are prepared. They have what it takes before they finally took up the aggression side. I'm a Yoruba man and I'm privy to a lot of things too. So I can tell you, we are not, or we don't have any sort of a preparation in all of these aspects. So what happened in 1966 was that in January, there was a coup. And that coup killed so many leaders from different parts of Nigeria. Right? So those who now succeeded the coup are going in Rossi from Igbo land. So they automatically just tagged it as a Igbo coup. Sure, you get that. Then prompted what happened 6 months later or 7 months later, the retaliatory coup, where others decided to get guns, the likes of Bokuwari, Muritala, Gowon, and the rest of them. They picked up guns to retaliate the killings of their supposed leaders from northern Nigeria and then break away from Nigeria. But they couldn't do it. So what happened? They took over Nigeria. And Nigeria became one Nigeria according to the dictates of the caliphate, who gained the aftermath of the collapse of newly independent Nigeria. So don't mix them up. If we want to, share you get me now, if we want to be honest, okay? So if you bring Cuba or you bring other places, you are mixing things up. So Cuba, what happened in Cuba, the revolution in Cuba, right, can be compared to what the Fulani, Hausa Fulani, Kanuris and northern Nigeria, what they did. You could say it's a revolution, because what happened since that time? What did they do? A country that gained independence and got parliamentary system of government as their government, the government that the style of government that actually allowed them, each region, to develop according to their own pace and resources. None is controlling anywhere until that 1966. So when that 1966 happened, they changed that form and they created states. First, they created 12. Next, they created 19, then 21, then 24, then 36, in order to redesign the Nigeria to what you have today. But despite all of that, peace still no deal. So Cuba, after their revolution for years, they went through a lot. Today, Cubanas, have you called them Cubanas? The Cubans, they have their country, and it is called Cuba today. So us that were forced to be part of a contraption like this in Nigeria, If you want to fight war, you say, okay, who are we going to fight war with? Nigeria. Where are we going to fight the war? Where? So this is why some of these fights are not always physical. They always come last. You know why they come last? Because by that time, you would have marked your territory. You know what I mean? You would have marked your territories. Conversation around them would have been something that everyone who wants to say something would have to be very careful, because they must have what is called their own factor turn. No